Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I got invited to cover Crispifest. In Boiling Springs, right off Highway 9, at New Groove is where I spent most of my time. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys who were up to no good started brewing beer in the neighborhood. They had one too many, and Beer Me GVL got fright. He said, "Take your butt back to Columbia tonight." I whistled for a cab, but when it came near, the license plate was fresh, had anime in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but thought, nah, forget it, you're home, so New Groove. I pulled up to the house about 10 a.m. and I yelled to the cab, "You home, smell you later." I looked at the brewery, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Crispifest.
Back with more from Crispifest with half of the owners of Kite Hill Brewing Company, and you could see half of us on half of me anyway on either side of this post here. So, Bryon, tell me, Kite Hill. This is obviously it's summer. It's late June. It's starting to get up to the almost abysmal part of the season, the summer season. So, how do your crispy beers kind of flow into this hotter season in South Carolina?
So we always keep about 6 lagers on tap at the brewery. Six. We take our lagers seriously. We got 2 lagering tanks. We keep them full, keep them turned over. We brought Noon Kickoff, which we make 4 or 5 times a year. Classic American lager, easy to drink, perfect in the heat. We also brought West Coast Pilsner that we just brewed a collab with New Groove. So it seemed appropriate to bring that out here too.
So West Coast Pills, that's something that a relatively new style to me. Well, I guess at this point not relatively new. So I tried Dope Vibes here last year, and I thought that was exceptional because it had like all the hoppiness of an IPA, but still had like the crushableness of a Pilsner. So what, from the owner brewer's perspective, what makes West Coast Pilsner different as far as like bridging the gap between the two styles?
So I'm the owner, not the brewer, so the brewer doesn't get mad at me. But it's a classic Pilsner base with it's pretty heavily hopped with things you find in a West Coast IPA. So it's almost like we've come full circle from 20 years ago. But we used to make low ABV, easy drinking West Coast IPAs. We didn't have to clarify them back then. Now we're just lagering them.
Yeah. So is that really just the difference? Like, okay, we want to make a West Coast IPA, and we'll just leave it in the fermenter longer?
Well, no, it's not the only difference. I'll get in trouble for this. So it is a classic Pilsner, the malt base, how we ferment it. We're using lager yeast. We're just hopping it differently than you would hop like a Czech Pilsner, and it's hopped pretty aggressively. And I should give credit, New Groove. I mean, a lot of folks have started making this. New Groove, I think, was the first in the upstate to start doing it, and so we were real excited when they wanted to do a collab, and we did that style. And Duke and our brewer, we were all at CBC together. They got to go around and play with hops and smell hops and figure out how they wanted to hop this. So a lot went into this. It's not like your usual collab where one brewery shows up while the other brewery makes beer and everybody gets drunk.
What did you bring today? What is in your jockey box?
So we have that West Coast Bills and then our Noon Kickoff, our almost year-round American lager.
Okay. Now, I'm one that says hashtag every season is stout season, but most of the beer drinking world, when it comes to these high heat, 85, 90 degree summers, they get into crispy season. Mm-hmm. That's what this festival kicks off, of course. So what does Kite Hill offer as far as crispy season is concerned? Like, as far as what you just talked about overall, you said you had six lagers on tap. Yeah. That seems like a lot, unless you've got like 30 taps.
We have 16 taps. We take lager seriously at Kite Hill. We usually have 5 IPAs because that's what most people want to drink. Summertime, we have a Schwarzbier that won
a Schwarzbier.
Yeah, won a gold medal at the Brewers Guild competition last year. But that's there for the stout drinkers. We make a classic American stout. It's nice, low ABV, easy drinking, and we frequently have that on in the summer also. So there's stouts to be had in the summer at Kite Hill also.
So you kind of like bridge the gap between those like me, or like they want their dark beers all year round.
Right.
So what are your flagships, so to speak?
So our flagship's West Coast IPA, frequency modulated. We have that on. We maybe don't have it on 5 days out of the year, but we always have that. And it's a classic West Coast. I say that I'm a West Coast IPA guy. I drink more lagers than anything now, but if I want an IPA, that's my go-to.
I've seen frequency modulated seep into distro as of late.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your presence in distro? How can people get your Kite Hill beer past coming to your tap room?
So we have a 10 barrel system. We put 2 barrels of every batch into sixels that goes out in draft into distro. And since we make a lot of frequency modulated because we turn it over in the tap room pretty fast, that's the most common beer to see out in distro. But almost everything we brew is going to wind up, some of it's going to go, about 12 sixels will go out into distro. And then 3 or 4 times a year, we'll bring in a mobile canner and we'll can off some 16-ounce beers. And then once a year, well, previously it was once a year, we would do Tiger Tout Lager, which is our tailgate lager. It's a classic Mexican lager, easy to drink. We would do that in the fall every year, but we're going to start making that a year-round offering also. So you can find that out in 6-pack, 12-ounce cans too.
Tailgate lagers. Do you try to like bridge the gap between you want Tigers fans to drink as much at tailgates as Gamecocks fans?
Well, the problem is Gamecocks have Untapped, so we got to walk a fine line. Because every time something goes into distro in Columbia, our Untapped ratings go down. But we want to be a brewery for everybody. You know, that's something that we take seriously, particularly in the tap room. Everyone's welcome. But we try to make some Clemson themed beers, but we're not in your face. But when football season comes around, and no problem, Tiger Town Lager
on the
in your face. You might see the historical record of how often we beat the Gamecocks somewhere on that can. But yeah, when it all comes down to it, we're still a Clemson brewery. We're alumni owned. We know where we're from.
Well, a final question, or I guess final beer question. As far as the, you mentioned the sixtels. That was a new legislation passed or revised recently. How has that helped Kite Hill's brand and brand awareness?
I think because of our location, I don't think we're going to sell a whole lot of sixels out of the tap room. I would love to. You know, most breweries our size, when we put beer in distribution, it's just to get our name out. We're not making any money. Everybody else makes money on it. We don't. I hope that we do, that business grows a little bit because it's an opportunity to make some more money where we didn't have that opportunity before. So I'm optimistic right now, but we'll see.
Bryon, final word about the Kite Hill brand. What would you like to get out to the audience, anyone watching, as far as what Kite Hill's about and why people should come out to your tap room?
So we're a community and family focused tap room. I mean, that was the reason we went to Clemson, was because we wanted to give something back to that community. I mean, Clemson's done a lot for both Bobby and I, and we wanted a community gathering spot. We didn't really see anything like that in Clemson. So kids are welcome, your dogs are welcome outside. We've got food, 16 taps of great beer, a seltzer for people who don't drink beer, but we got non-alcoholic options, something for everybody. So once you come out with your friends, your family, and make some new friends, sit around and have some great conversations over beer.
That's what it's about, because you know what, beer tastes good, but it's nice to have a community and someone to talk to sitting at the bar too.
Right.
Bryon, thanks for joining me.
Yep, thanks for the interview.